So here we go on Aunt Patty's Lavender Hour. Yay! The first interview that I'm going to be doing is with my friend Jack Moriarty. Jack, wave hello to the people.
Hey, how's it going?
Jack, Jack is currently 19, right? Are you still 19, Jack?
Yeah, 19 for a couple more months.
But he has the sophistication of a 35-year-old when it comes to all this electronic gizmo wizardry. So I'm really happy to have him on board. I met Jack by knowing his parents, and I met Jack in utero.
The first time that I met Patrick was when your dad was doing the cover for that, the first revival. And we went over to the house and I was pregnant with you, and we went into the house and I was out to here with you. And, JB kind of touched my tummy and said, "So who is this that we have?" And I said, "Well, that's Jack."
And we've been associated ever since. So it turns out that Jack is not only really talented electronically, but Jack is a musical savant. It's okay if I use adjectives like that for you. You don't have to use them for yourself, Jack.
I won't stop you.
All right, cool. Jack, what is your first recollection of doing something musically with me?
I pretty much just remember what I've been told, which is that you tried giving me guitar lessons when I was about 5 and my hands were too small. So you fired it up again when I was about 7, and that's when I started actually learning to play the guitar, which I don't remember very clearly, but I guess that's when we got a start on it.
And then we have that fabulous video of you when you were about 3 years old, standing on a chair singing Blue Moon of Kentucky, right? So cute. Yes, I started teaching Jack guitar when he was about 7, but by the time Jack was about 9, I realized that Jack was better at guitar than me. Jack, when did you first start realizing that you could play the guitar better than me? You can tell the truth, it's okay.
I don't think that I really got better at guitar than you until after I started taking lessons with Bobby and Asante, the now bassist for Lavender Country. Because I guess by the time I was 9 or 10, you taught me all the major guitar chords.
I went to your parents and I said, "Hey, I'm ripping you off. You got to find a different guitar teacher. Your kid is better than me." And then you and I embarked for another couple of years on songwriting. Do you remember when we started that?
Yeah, that's a little bit more in my clear recollection. I mean, we probably started writing songs when I was 9 or 10. So the stuff that we were writing was like about kid stuff, I wanted to write songs about cats and my teachers and school and stuff like that. So probably the most major one was Lunch and Recess.
Well, I like Lunch and Recess.
Yeah,
That one.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
That one was pretty well thought out. It was catchy and everything. I hate math because it's a bore. Fractions and decimals make me snore. Just stuff that, kids in 5th grade think about. But
Uh-huh.
you really helped me frame it into like a more, structured intellectual songwriter context. So it was subject matter of a 5th grader, but it was like actually a really well-structured song.
It was.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun to help you write that.
Yeah.
But it was really your inspiration. You're the one who came up with the idea about writing that song. While I was teaching you, I wasn't doing Lavender Country. I was doing senior songs with Bobby Taylor, the harmonica player. And we were doing songs for seniors. And one of the things that we were doing was doing songs for the developmentally disability crew at a place called the Ark. And you did some shows at the Ark when you were like 9 or 10, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of shows there. I probably did probably 10 or 20 shows there between the ages of like 8 and 10.
The crowd loved you guys. I mean, it was so awesome. And there's that one video where I'm recording it, and then somebody comes up to me at the end and they're talking to me and they're like, he's really good. You know, I can play guitar too, but I'm not as good as him. He's really awesome. You know, it was so great because they get up and dance. And I thought that was a really great experience for me. Yeah.
Turn the right, turn the right, turn the right. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, you better watch out. Yes, you better beware. They come from both sides. I'm coming in, I better beware.
The thing I liked about the Ark's gigs the best was the feedback was direct and honest and not sugar-coated.
Mm-hmm.
If they liked what you were playing, they hit the floor with joy and alacrity and glee and huge smiles and rocked out dancing. And if they didn't like what you were playing, they said, turn it off. That's no good. So you have some videos from the Ark. I think your mom sent some other pictures of when you were really young, singing and playing drums and jerking around a toy guitar and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I think I had a bunch of like toy instruments when I was, 2, 3, and 4, and I didn't actually get a real guitar until the time I was like 6 or 7 and started taking guitar lessons from you. My parents got me like a $20 acoustic guitar from a garage sale, and that's the one that I played for most of those shows for like 3 years.
That was a good guitar, it turned out. It wasn't
Yeah.
that bad.
It worked. It did the job.
Yeah, and it's what I taught you on,
Yeah.
and we got quite a ways with that $20 guitar.
Introducing the fabulous, up and coming. You're going to see a lot more of him.
Ubiquitous.
Look out, you two.
And Jack Moriarty!
What mistakes did I make when I was teaching you? Was there anything that I did that frustrated you when I was teaching you?
I mean, you're a very aggressive teacher. Like, you're very upfront about everything and in your face and loud. And I think maybe at times that was a little bit like overwhelming as a kid, but I think it conditioned me to be really confrontational as a performer. It's starting to click a little bit more that like, oh, I take performing really seriously because Patrick was confrontational with me. So that kind of translated into me as a performer being confrontational in whatever instrument I play.
So you see it as an asset now.
Yeah.
But there are times when you're 9, 10, and 11 when you thought I was kind of a pushy bitch, huh?
A little bit. It's like Patrick's gonna stand me up here and yell in my face and make me yell in his face, and that's his idea of a vocal lesson. I think at times that's what was running through my head.
Yeah, when you're a performer, you have to push it out there.
Yeah.
And you can't sit back and be lazy and lackadaisical about it. That don't work. Sorry, I was such a pushy bitch, Jack.
It worked out. It worked out in the end.
We did this for many years. I would meet you on Wednesday mornings about 7:30, and we would have a class till 8:30 or 9. And then I drove you over to the elementary school at South Colby.
Yeah, you were trading my dad for painting lessons. My dad was teaching you how to paint.
I got free painting lessons from your dad. Jack's dad is noted cartoonist, and he knows all kinds of things about art. And he's been very involved in Lavender Country too. He's been so involved in Lavender Country that he's going to get his own interview down the line. When did you first know that I had written something like Lavender Country? When did that come into your mind?
There was never really a time when it was explained to me. I just remember that I was commissioned to start playing some shows with Lavender Country, and it was just kind of something that just rose up out of nowhere.
That was 2014. How old were you then?
I was 14.
I'm the youngest in the band by about 50 years. It's really great, what Patrick has, done in the past. Like, I think some of the songs are really funny too, so that's cool.
What were your thoughts when your folks said they wanted you to play in Lavender Country?
I don't really remember discussing it with my parents at any time. I remember you asking me if I was interested, but it sounds like you've told me that you did have a conversation with them, and of course they were cool with it.
Oh, yes. We were sitting at your dining room table, and I said, look, this is a serious discussion. I'd like Jack to play in Lavender Country. He's only 14 years old. There's this whole thing about gays and kids. There's more going on here than meets the eye. People are going to have something to say because such a young person is playing these radical queer songs like crying these cocksucking tears. What do you think about this?
I don't remember distinctly that conversation, but I was always cool with that. Patrick and JB are like your grandfathers. I mean, they're family. And for you to be able to play with Lavender Country, I thought was a huge privilege. It was never an issue of saying no. I mean, it just seemed like a logical progression. We always had this parade of characters coming into our house, all the creative types, and they were different, sexual orientations and colors and shapes and, political orientations, and we never cared. So yeah. I thought it was really cool for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think that's also why it took me a while to really register why Lavender Country was even a big deal, because I didn't really fathom at first why it was even important that he was gay and why it was even important that he made a gay country record. Like, for a long time as a kid, it was like, okay, so what? Like, big deal. A lot of people are gay. Like, it was so normal that it didn't click for me why it was radical.
Well, I guess that's a statement about how far the movement has come, and it's also a statement about where your mind was at when you joined Lavender Country. Wasn't it about this time that you formed your own band called Gutter Pup? Yeah,
I was playing music with some of my friends like when I was like 9 and 10 and stuff, but we weren't playing shows or anything. We were just kind of messing around. I think Gutter Pup was probably my first band that actually played shows, and that was about 14.
Do you remember how old you were when you formed Gutter Pup?
Yeah, we were probably 14 or 15. Just me. So
it was about the same time?
Yeah.
Did you think Gutter Pup was a better band than Lavender Country?
Gutter Pup was more like, it came more naturally to me because I'd been playing rock and roll music my whole life, so I think I was having a better time.
Tell the truth, Jack. Did you think Gutter Pup was better than Lavender Country?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what I would have told my friends.
Spit it out.
Like anyone who asked me about what I was doing at that time, I probably wouldn't have mentioned Lavender Country. I would have told them about Gutter Pup. So yeah, I guess at the time that's probably what I was thinking.
Well, hey, maybe it was, but we don't need to compare.
Yeah.
They were two different activities. You're not doing Gutter Pup anymore, are you?
Oh, not really.
So I mean, hanging out with some of the same kids.
Yeah, totally.
Wasn't Ian in Gutter Pup?
Yeah, Ian was in Gutter Pup for a while, and we've all been friends since like 2nd or 3rd grade. Like, I was friends with those guys when you were teaching me how to write songs, and I was playing music with them back there in elementary school too, and we're still all playing music together.
Yeah. Ian's even done some work with Lavender Country. He's a really good guitar player.
I never
Um,
predicted it, you know. Lots of interesting characters in my life, and it's just fun to
yeah.
watch everyone, you know, meet each other and intersperse lives and everything. It's a really interesting thing to watch.
When did it arrive in your brain that Lavender Country had a particular significance that was important?
Uh, I'd say I'm even still surprised by a lot of the things that happen. Like, it's been very gradual. It started off just playing kind of small shows, and I didn't know what was going on. And then, you know, soon enough, we were playing South by Southwest, and there were crowds of, you know, like 50 to 100 hipsters watching Lavender Country, and that was kind of like a little bit of an awakening point. I'm still surprised by things every day.
Me too. When did you start telling your friends you were in Lavender Country? You were never embarrassed about being in Lavender Country, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I guess I didn't really start uh, mentioning it or, you know, using it as a bragging right until a couple years ago. And I mean, it's a great conversation point. Everyone is super interested, and they think it's cool.
Do you tell them the part about me knowing you from the womb, or do you just skip that?
That usually comes as a question after I tell people about what it is. They're like, "Well, how did you get hooked up with Patrick Haggerty? What's the story behind this?"
Do you have a favorite Lavender Country show?
My favorite show was in Olympia, I think. Since I'm living down there, going to Evergreen, I was able to pretty much, you know, book that show and get some openers and do a bunch of promotion. And it was a good way to make friends and everything to talk about that show.
Well, it was a great show at a
Yeah.
place called the Octopass.
Yeah, it was super
It
successful.
sold out, and it was a very high-spirited event.
There were all these kids there from your school, and here's Patrick being just out there being Patrick like he normally does, and he opens the show with, you know, I'm a fucking Marxist bitch, and you know we have to revolt, and all the kids, everybody there was just all over, and all these 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we need in our world right now.
So I think one of the high points of this interview is to have people realize that a lot of our musical history together, especially in the early years, didn't have anything to do with Lavender Country. It was about something else. It was about Gutter Pup, and it was about the shows at the Ark, and it was about me teaching you guitar, and it was about my work with Bobby Taylor in the senior community. So, do you want to continue with Lavender Country?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it seems.
How come?
I think it's helped me improve a lot as a musician to learn how to play country music on every instrument. You know, you taught me how to play it on guitar, but it was challenging for me to really figure out how to play drums to country music.
One of the real advantages to working with you is that wherever I have a hole in my band, I can fill it with you. Jack, I need you on bass today. Jack, I need you on rhythm today. Jack, I need you on drums today. Jack, I need you on lead today.
Yeah, it helps me too because I can play any Lavender Country show, even if you wouldn't technically need me on one instrument. I'm still invited.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yes, I always need you somewhere.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Have you learned anything politically by being in Lavender Country?
If it weren't for you in Lavender Country, I wouldn't really have any association with queer people, which has been like, I don't know, it's been a huge part of my life recently, especially going to Evergreen, which is like, it's really helped me form a connection.
So you can just walk into that scene and be cool and suave and debonair and nonchalant, right?
Yeah, it's helped me do that. So,
Well, you were pretty much coming from that place in the first place.
yeah.
That part of it's not very difficult for you. You're prepared to do that. And also, the exposure that your parents provided you with not only LGBTQ people, but with people of color and from people of different backgrounds. Your childhood was actually pretty rich in that regard.
Yeah.
So you had an accepting personality in the first place, and your parents went out of their way to expose you to all that. So now you're cool as jack shit in any situation.
Oh, yeah.
Considering our history and considering where I first met you in your mother's womb, and I have been a good friend of yours the whole way, from the time we stood you on a chair when you were 3 years old to sing Blue Moon of Kentucky, to Gutter Pup, to the ARC shows, to all of the lessons in between, to your joining Lavender Country, participating in Lavender Country, and being in Lavender Country. I'm very proud of my association with you, and you bring a real joy to my heart.
Oh.
Well, I know. I should lay it on thick, right?
So sappy. No, I feel the same way. I'm so grateful for everything that Lavender Country has brought into my life, like completely unexpectedly. And it's just been a crazy, crazy blessing to have all these awesome, nurturing experiences, you know, as a musician and as a family member and all of this stuff. It's awesome. I'm excited.
Jack, this is JB.
Hey, JB, what's up?
Listen, can I suggest that when you say talk about people you played with, did you mention Bobby Innocente, someone who's played at the Apollo Theater?
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have his own interview, honey.
Oh, no. But for his interview, for him to mention it. You see what I'm saying?
I did I mentioned him, but I didn't think about his credentials.
Right. If you can edit that.
We're going to get into Bobby's Innocente's history, thick and big time, coming up.